So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Roma Theory. We've got big transfer news today. Frattesi wants a Roma move. It's his priority. It's his dream. And BOVE could actually come useful when it comes to Frattesi joining for Roma. So we've got a lot to talk about today. Frattesi, I'm also going to mention, I'm going to touch on the financial fair play situation because I have a feeling a lot of people aren't aware that we're currently in a financial fair play mess. And therefore, this explains why we have to be careful in transfer markets and why we don't have the power to buy whoever we want. And how we have to sell to buy in many occasions. So I'm going to touch on the financial fair play because I think it's important to understand this. It's important to understand this because I don't really like how, if we get Frattesi, most probably we have to give BOVE away, but unfortunately it's something which we have to do due to financial fair play rules. Is it biased? Is it not biased? That can be a completely different topic, completely different argument. I think it is unbiased because teams which don't have money power get more affected than teams which do have the money power. But I'm already touched on that. I won't be a crybaby. But yeah, I mean, the important thing today that we'll touch on is how Frattesi really wants a Roma move, and we've got a massive source speaking about this, and how BOVE could actually come useful in letting Frattesi join for Roma, because Sassuolo are actually really interested in BOVE. They're a team who love exploring with young players, who love growing young players. So it's good. It's good that they're interested in him, and it could come handy when it comes to convincing them to lower that 30 million price tag that they currently have for Frattesi. I'm going to start off by saying 30 million for Frattesi is too much. I would never spend 34 million euros to sign Frattesi. I would much rather sign Frattesi by kind of reducing that price tag with bonuses, with other players and that. But it is obviously disappointing that one of the ways to try and convince Sassuolo is to give one of our players, which in yesterday's friendly game, in my opinion, was one of the man of the matches. But let's touch on the financial fair play situation, because I think this is it's an important refreshment to people who aren't aware of which kind of explains why we can't do whatever we want in transfer markets and why we have to be careful. So let me read you this quote, which does kind of explain the situation. The main penalty is for PSG, who will be deducted 10 million euros immediately. And in case of failure to fulfill the agreements, another 55 million will be deducted from the French team. Roma follows with an initial contribution of 5 million and another 30 million conditioned by the settlement agreement. Then Inter Milan 4 million plus possibly another 22 million, Juventus with 3.5 million unconditional and 20.5 million conditional, Milan 2 million initial and another 13 million in case of non-compliance, and then Besiktas, we've got 600,000 euros, which can become 4 million, Olympique Marseille, and so on. With the exception of Besiktas, who have not qualified for any UEFA competition for the 22-23 season, all of the others will have their unconditional fee deducted from the participation prizes in their respective continental tournaments. It's important to understand this. It's important to understand this because it explains how there's a process of selling to buy going on in our team and with many other teams. Can I say we are being targeted here? This is definitely unfair. This is definitely unfair because why do these teams get punished? Other than PSG, who has to be punished. Why do these teams get punished and teams like Real Madrid, Barcelona, who has not been following the economic rules, the financial rules since quite a few years now, Man City and all of these teams. Why do these teams, Roma, why does Roma get punished if they don't spend much money and especially in these last couple of years have sold so many players to get the players they have now? Well, it's a power problem because we've already seen how the Super League can act in kind of against this. We don't have the power that Real Madrid has to go against UEFA and threaten them to join a Super League if we get punished. We can't do that. You know, the second we have something against us, we can't go, right, you know what? Who are you? I'm going to threaten you by creating a Super League. And, you know, if we create the Super League, then who cares about the Champions League? Who cares about the UEFA tournaments anymore? We can't do that. We genuinely can't do that. Another reason why it's surprising is because when the Super League creation idea was in place, Roma never joined. And Roma was always loyal to UEFA. Therefore, another reason why this doesn't make sense is why are we being punished if, first of all, we don't have the power to go against them, and second of all, we've never even threatened to join the Super League. It makes absolutely no sense. But unfortunately, we're being influenced this. We really are being influenced in this. And this is why you are seeing, we're interested in a player, right, okay, I'm going to try and reduce the price tag by inserting players, by inserting bonuses and all of that. This is another reason why in this last summer transfer market, we focused on free agents. Yes, I agree, not every single player has to be a free agent, but there is a financial fair play rule against us. There is a financial fair play law against us. And trust me, until it's 5 million to be, you know, until it's a 5 million fine, it's okay. But when it comes to Roma, if it gets to a 35 million fine, which is what this article has explained to us, it's an initial 5 million. If Roma doesn't respect the transfer market agreements and the financial fair play agreements, they will be added 30 million to the budget. If we get deducted 35 million from our budget because of financial fair play, that's where the mess really comes in. Because that is also another reason why it explains we don't have the power over Real Madrid. So right now, we have to be careful in every single transfer market session, in every single balance session of, you know, lawyers within the club and all of that. It's very complicated to understand, but it's very important to understand because it kind of is influenced the way we act in transfer markets. And this is a good start to speak about Frattesi and how the deal is potentially closer because BOVE can be inserted in this. Now, BOVE could actually leave on a permanent deal if Frattesi comes. This is Roma's plan when it comes to Frattesi. So the value which Sassuolo retain, according to Frattesi, is 30 million. If we add BOVE in this, his 30 million would become around 22 million. So let's say, because BOVE is around 8 million, he's valued around 8 million. So the 30 million would be reduced to 22 million. However, we also have a clause which was inserted when Frattesi joined Sassuolo, which is when Sassuolo sell Frattesi, Roma can basically get 30% of the money that Sassuolo earns when they sell him away from Sassuolo. Now, that would reduce the 22 million budget another 30%. So we would get the final value around 15 million, which is more affordable. It's almost half than the initial price. So this is Roma's plan. However, it's something significant. Frattesi wants a Roma move. Frattesi is keen on getting back to Roma. And this, I'm gonna read you a source coming from Corriere dello Sport, which is one of the biggest newspapers, sport newspapers here in Italy. And this is what they say. Juventus, Napoli, Brighton have all tried in order, but the answer has always been the same. My wish is to wear the Roma shirt again and return to my city. In this way, Davide Frattesi has confirmed himself as a great Giallorossi fan and above all, a faithful ally for Roma's general manager Tiago Pinto, with whom in recent months he has established an intensive and constructive communication. Moved by a sincere attachment to the Giallorossi colours, the Sassuolo midfielder has recently frozen all offers, including those from Italian clubs and foreign clubs, especially the Premier League. Frattesi wants a Roma move. Frattesi will put a lot of pressure on Sassuolo to get back to Roma. He has turned down Napoli bids, he's turned down Brighton offers, because right now he knows he has a chance to get back playing in the city he loves, in the city he was raised, with the team he loves, he supports, and where he started his career. If he can do all of that again, Frattesi knows there is a chance, because Roma have shown how interested they are in him, and therefore Frattesi right now has turned down every single bid, because he knows that there could be something happening between Roma and Sassuolo. And this is why the two sides are closer and closer and closer. Now, they're even closer because Roma have potentially offered BOVE to be inserted in this, and Sassuolo or Rio fans of BOVE, they like him, they admire him, and I also think we've discussed this again. BOVE was close to Lecce a few weeks ago, and we've discussed this, but then the situation kind of froze out because Mourinho actually could have faith in him over this second half of the season. However, I just don't think he will get game time when Gini's back. And that's why I think a move away from Roma is very likely for BOVE in this January window. It sucks that we have to buy players by giving some of our players, but unfortunately at this stage, it's how it works because of these financial fair play rules. So I definitely think BOVE will want to seek more game time. That's definitely BOVE's priority. And Frattesi's priority is to get back to Roma. So the two sides could easily find an agreement here. Plus, Frattesi wouldn't even be a massive salary contender because his salary wouldn't be the highest. It would be affordable for Roma. So yeah, definitely big news when it comes to this. Roma also have apparently kind of reattached bonds with Olympique Lyon to sign Aouar, most probably in June. And in fact, it could also happen that we could sign both Frattesi and Aouar at the same time. Not in the same transfer window, because Aouar could happen in January because his contract ends in January, and the second his contract ends, Roma would just need to pay 4 million, which is good. So there could be a massive midfielder revolution if we buy Frattesi and Aouar, add him onto Gini, Kamara, Cristante and Matic. It could be a midfield revolution. I definitely think we're getting the impression that it's the midfielder area which Mourinho wants to touch on the most in this January window. If it will be the defensive section or the offensive section, the creative section, I don't know. I do think we need more creative players than defensive players, but again, box-to-box midfielders, kind of like Frattesi, are also well needed. So yeah, Frattesi's also been a priority since so long. Mourinho really is a massive fan of Frattesi, because otherwise you wouldn't explain all of these contacts between Roma and Sassuolo. You just can't explain it. It really means that Mourinho's onto him and really wants him at Roma, because he's been tracing him since this summer. Then obviously this summer things kind of froze out because the sides didn't find an agreement, and then we bought Gini, and then Gini got injured, and then we bought Kamara, and then we prioritized Dybala and all of that. But the two sides were really close this summer. These two sides, look at this. In fact, look at this. To tell you how close the two sides were this summer, I'm gonna show you a behind the scenes secret on the channel. Look at this. Let me quickly find it. It really shows you how close the two sides were. So let me quickly find it again. If I go here on the videos and I go to this summer's videos, look at this. Let me take a screenshot of this to really emphasize how close the two sides were this summer. Look at this picture. There was a week this summer where I couldn't go live because I was at a tennis summer camp, so I didn't go live. So I programmed some videos. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this live stream which I was gonna program this summer. Agreement for Frattesi has been found. However, it's private. It's a video which never went live. It's a video which I filmed, which I programmed because I was reading how close the two sides were. So look at that. Private video, which no one saw, which never went live this summer. But look at that title. The agreement was basically done. The agreement was basically found. And then we bought Dybala, which made this video private and never public, and which made our transfer objectives change by quite a long while. But there you go. That really puts to mind that the two sides were so close. They were that close, and then I don't know what happened. But you know, we've seen how much Frattesi wants this move. And I think it's going to play a big part. He's going to put so much pressure on the board. Sassuolo are a nasty board. They're always harsh. They always invent price tags and that they always exaggerate price tags. So it is very much needed for Frattesi to put pressure on the board, to make the board understand that he wants a return to Roma. And the fact that he's turned down so many bids from so many different clubs is the prime explanation of absolutely everything. So ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, please make sure to smash the like button in this video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments, first of all, your impressions on the financial fair play situation, if it's biased, unbiased, and all of that. And yeah, also let me know if you would give BOVE to get Frattesi, because I think Frattesi is a priority for Mourinho and is definitely a player which can boost our midfielder, our squad depth, and all of that. So let me know all of your impressions in the comments below. As I said before, don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I will catch you tomorrow with another stream. And then on Wednesday, I'm going to go live for the third and last friendly game in this Portugal tour against Wanwick. So stay tuned for that. Turn the bell notifications so you'll be notified every time I post a video or go live. So yeah, I'll catch you soon. Simon out.